Yeah, man, I get it.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
All right, audio rolling. Episode resolution. Take one.
Yes! Welcome to Late Night!
That music, it never gets old.
Man, it is the best song. Our band doesn't miss, boy.
I don't think I need the fan just yet.
No? He's a fan of the
I
fan.
feel like a prop master back here.
Yeah? You look like a prop master back there.
Let me get set up. Here we are. Music is too low. There's the audience. There they are.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Late Night, Date Night, Daytime, Day Grind, wherever you are, whenever you are.
Welcome. You love to see it.
Welcome back to the show. I said welcome back, but the reality is welcome to the show.
But also welcome back if you watch them all, you know.
If you've watched before, that's a big if. Welcome back.
Welcome back, you one guy.
We got a big show tonight.
We do actually. It is the month of February, which means
Late January. Some people like to call it late January.
Yes, which means that if you had a New Year's resolution, you're probably already fucking it up. Am I right?
You're probably right. You know, honestly, I want to say people probably don't do a good job of doing it in January. I think people come to February, and that's where they're like, okay.
Do you see?
Holiday hangover's over. I need to start my New Year resolution.
You see that? Listen to him. He knows. This guy's speaking from experience. And that's why I'm here to talk about it. I believe that New Year's resolutions are geared towards procrastinators.
Wait, what?
They are. People who don't procrastinate don't typically need a New Year's resolution. They have already started to put the building blocks in order to accomplish their goals. However, procrastinators waited an entire year, and now it's a new year. They didn't accomplish shit. And now it's time to do it. The problem is you got a whole nother year to accomplish it. And do you know what a guy like myself does when you give me a whole year to do something?
Probably wait another year.
I wait approximately 11 and a half months.
I was going to say, most people probably they come back after summer. And that's if you have kids, that's when the school year starts.
Yeah.
Or if you're just in your job, you probably realize, I've ruined this year. You're like, okay, I need to make a change. But then what do you do immediately? You look at what's coming. Oh, well, Thanksgiving's coming. Oh,
right.
Well, Christmas is coming. You know what? We're going to push it to January.
This is an entire thing that is completely revolving around procrastinators, and I can prove it. The gym, right? The gym. At the beginning of the new year, everybody's at the fucking gym. And you're saying to me, well, Ryan, how does that make you a procrastinator? You're starting the new year hitting the gym. Negative. The reason you're going to the gym is because summer's right around the corner and you have already procrastinated all the way to New Year's to try to get your summer body. It is a joke. It really, truly is. And so I, as a procrastinator myself,
do tell.
I will procrastinate on anything. I be taking my time. You know, I get it done when I get it done. And that's whack. It's not an adult practice. It's not something that you should do.
It's a common practice.
It's a common practice by a lot of people, but we're trying to be better out here on the late night podcast.
Easy.
And
I mean, that's really kind of what all of this is about is I think we're trying to push out good energy. We're trying to, here's the reality. Ryan and I are fuck ups.
Yes.
We are always, but we are always trying to be better. We do make an active, we're actively trying to be better versions of ourselves. And I think that's the key is you have to You have to continually look at yourself and say, what did I do good this year? What did I do bad this year? But we're all about improvement. You can't live in this past negative state. So.
Correct. And in the spirit of improvement, I have decided that I am done with the year of resolution, the New Year's resolution, if you will.
I thought this whole topic was New Year's resolution, and you're saying canceled.
Canceled. That was it. It is. It's about no longer doing a New Year's resolution. A procrastinator cannot have that much time to be flexible with. An ADD kid, an ADHD kid, or just a lazy fuck like myself, we don't need that much time. So I would like to bring to the table a new week's resolution. A new week's resolution.
Make my bed.
New week's resolution. You got a week. That's all you get. And for those of you that's still too much time, we also have daily achievements.
Ryan was, in case you didn't see it, in case you're just listening, he was pointing to himself aggressively.
Yes. If you're like me, you also need daily resolutions. So I have started to jot down goals for myself.
So it's almost like, like a lot of successful people do the daily checklist where you get to mark it off.
Yes. I know you guys all tuned in on my Building Better Habits podcast. This is kind of piggybacking off of that. It wasn't until I started thinking about how silly New Year's resolutions were that I really started to think about it. But I mean, I guess this would just be building a better schedule for yourself. However, if you do it on a week-to-week basis, you have a lot of check-ins that you wouldn't get on a New Year's resolution, right? Like, what do you check that every 6 months? Yeah, didn't do it. Like what, every 3 months? Like how often do you check in on your New Year's resolution?
I mean, you've kind of have found somewhat of a fundamental flaw in the New Year's resolution is, so like if you have goals,
yes,
and you say, okay, my goal this year is to get in shape. The problem with something like that general is it's not attainable.
Correct.
Goals have to be measurable, and you also have to factor in time.
Right.
So it's a better practice in general to say, okay, well, yeah, in 2 months, I'm going to lose 2 pounds or whatever. But if it's just open-ended, it's impossible to attain. And maybe that's, I think, probably the point you're going to make is that when you say, I've got a year to do this, if it's not specific and measurable, then maybe that's too much time for those of us that aren't as self-scheduled.
Yes. We did a little conversation previously about, past, present, future, which ones, require most of your attention. The future is important to look towards. However, it is also very important to be present in the present.
Get lost in the future sauce.
I think that if you are a procrastinator, the best place for you to start accomplishing your goals is the present. I think that is your easiest canvas to, I can right now accomplish something because if you give me a day, I'm taking a day like that. So it's a easier way, and you have those check-ins constantly because every day you have something new, or every week you're like, I didn't do anything I was supposed to do. And I think that if you have those more frequent check-ins on your goals, it will allow you to avoid that procrastination lockup. And by that, I mean where you've procrastinated so far that now when you even think about the goal that you need to accomplish, you spend the entire time thinking about how you can't believe that you've procrastinated this long.
That's a funny thing, I think, that you bring up psychologically. Sometimes I think goals, the weight of them becomes too much if you're too far behind.
100%.
And then it's almost like another crutch. You're like, oh, I said this year I was going to lose weight. And then, like you said, you get 6 months in and you've done nothing.
And you've done nothing.
Rather than taking the harder step of just doing it, you know what? Okay, I'm going to go to the gym today. You sit back and dwell on, man, why didn't I go 6 months ago? Man, this year's already gone. Is this 100%. Year lost? Well, now I'm not going to meet my goal at all because the goal was this year. And now I've got even less time. But it's a weird psychological thing because you take the glass half full, you say, oh, well, you know what? Maybe I screwed up. But guess what? I have 6 whole months to reach my goal now, and that's still good. But it's hard to take that mentality if you don't catch the right footing in the beginning.
And that mentality is only a positive one if you do something with the following 6 months. It could really just be a ticking time bomb to that procrastination lockdown.
But it's
now I
interesting.
only have 3 months.
Yeah, but it's interesting how people. It is very similar to other conversation that they get obsessed with the past because they didn't do what they wanted to do.
They let themselves down.
So now they're just gonna live in that letdown instead of just digesting it. I think this is hard for people.
It is.
Take what happened, digest it, and then get rid of it and start afresh. And even if you failed in that 6 months, just look yourself in the mirror, accept it, and say, okay, and don't beat yourself up because that's where people live way too long. And then digest and say, okay, well, guess what we have now? Now we have the future. Now we have the now, like you're bringing into.
Right.
What can I do now? Maybe that's a phrase that we all need to write on our mirror. I used to do this a lot. You remember when you lived with me years ago? I'm like a crazy person, like Nash with the numbers. I would write all over my mirrors, but I found it helpful. So maybe this is something that will work for you. On my mirrors, whiteboards, whatever you have, I would write things. So maybe that's a good phrase. What can I do now?
Yes, absolutely. You're stepping in what I'm shitting out. And for that, I thank you. And I'm sorry.
I want to get on board. I want to get on board with this because this is something we're all battling.
All of us.
I mean, this is
especially you and I.
Yeah, some people I think are super focused. For me, and I'm sure you're going to go into a lot of this because I know you've been looking into it for this episode. But for me, it's scheduling, and it's relying on the scheduling and self deadlines. When I'm on my most successful, I give myself deadlines, and I just get things in. Like exercise is an easy example because that's something I've done for a long time. I would usually will say, exercise happens every day. It's not like a choice. It's not like a do I feel like it today. It's exercise is going to happen in the day. So if I didn't do it in the morning,
that is your safety net.
Yeah, because that'll keep me from the other traps. Oh man, I'm tired. Or you know what? I said I was going to run this morning and I didn't run, and now it's nighttime. So now what am I supposed to do? I guess I'll try tomorrow. No. Go tonight before you go to bed.
Yes.
And guess what? It still got done.
And that's the thing is that a lot of the struggles of a procrastinator or a lazy person or a person that just doesn't seem to accomplish their goals, I've noticed that having a safety net of something that you cannot bend on will always keep you in better mental standings with your own psyche, right? Say, for instance, you, Garrett, say you're going to edit for 2 hours today. You're going to do something nice for your wife. You're going to wash your car. You're going to obviously work out. And you're going to finish a book that you started. There are days in the life of Garrett and everybody else, all the thousands of you watching, where you will not accomplish a single one of those goals. You will squander every single one of them. So if you have that one, for Garrett, it is fitness. For me, it's sometimes fitness, other times diet, other times free writing. I have a couple that I interchange, but for Garrett, it's very consistent, and that's why he's a very good example, is his workout. At the end of the day, is he going to feel down about the fact that he failed on 4 out of his 5 goals? Absolutely. But that one non-negotiable is still a victory. You still get to take that.
Because it's better than going to bed 0-5.
100%.
Because you're taking an O or an L, depending on how you want to look at it. You cannot live any day on an L. Maybe it's something as simple for people. If you feel like you're going to go to bed on an L, walk 20 minutes before you go to bed. Because guess what? That's an exercise success. That's not an L. Maybe it's, okay, I wanted to finish the book, but okay, now I don't have time. read 10 pages. That's not going to bed on a 0 or an L.
Correct.
I think it's kind of getting into that mindset of no matter what you missed or didn't do, if you do anything on your list before you go to bed, that's a success. And you can end on a success and start tomorrow sleeping on success.
Correct.
Setting yourself up for the next day.
And this is something Garrett taught me when I was much younger. I, for one, have a tendency to be very stagnant when I am in bad mental health.
I will cover you a little bit of a pass. It's tough for everybody.
100%. 100%. However, as somebody who has struggled with extreme levels of stagnant, guys, like I'm not talking, he only did a couple things. I mean, he sat on the couch or in a chair or on the back porch and he scrolled on his phone for 12 hours and went to sleep. Like
Which sounds like an exaggeration, but when you're in a bad mental health
it can
state,
happen.
You can waste your whole day on Netflix, on the couch.
Yes.
And something as simple as, getting that exercise or reading that book is on your list. When you just are in that rhythm, getting anything done can be tough. I mean, that's depression. That's real. We all have our battles with it.
And I know you've experienced it, and you're an extremely
100%.
active individual. Like you're
100%.
active and you have completely into straight stagnant town too.
Yep.
So as somebody who's more easy, go with the flow, I'm chilling, I don't need to do much. On a good day, when I'm really feeling vacation mode, I don't feel like I have to go run 10 miles. Garrett, not so much. He still has that drive, even on his biggest day off, that he has to get some stuff done. And one of the things that I took from him at those times where I was at my most stagnant is if I just do that one thing, that one victory that I don't want to do. For me, at the time was working out. Other times it's been doing shorts or learning about a new program or something involved in what we're doing now. If you can give yourself that one W, even if you end that day.
It's powerful.
Yeah, you can end that day still feeling like shit.
It's powerful.
But that one W will get you to the next day and hopefully start you on a better foot than you would have had you just done nothing. Because when you do nothing, it's very easy for one day to turn into 5 days.
Well, now I'd like to just slip in one thing too that I've found helpful. List makers are very successful.
Yes.
And there's something very powerful of crossing something off the list. First of all, just writing down those things in your day. And it's okay if you don't have to finish the list, but if you see the lists for the day and you were just able to cross something off, it's a powerful feeling. It's task completion, which I know we've talked about in the past, but I want to go in deeper with your episode today.
Yeah. So funny you say that. I have my new weekly and daily resolutions, if you will, for myself that I plan on doing longer than a year. But right now, let's just focus on this week.
I think kind of like your main point to start this is what I found very helpful for everyone is to start small.
Yes.
Sometimes the major goal, it's too much to digest. Even if you start out well for the year, sometimes it's too much. Smaller goals lead to big goals. So like let's take the easiest one, exercise example. If you want to lose 30 pounds this year, that's great. You can put that on like your vision board for the year, but what's more important is look at either day, month, week. Okay, what's that goal? Maybe that goal is eat 5 healthy meals or to lose 2 pounds this month. The small goals will get you to the big goals because it's getting to 30 pounds, whatever that big goal is. It's hard. There are days where you're going to feel down. But when you have the small goals that you can check off, cross out, be proud of, those moments push you through the plateaus.
Now, how are we doing on time? Because I have my list.
You got a good 8 minutes plus.
8 minutes plus. So I'm going to talk about mine. When we get back, I'm going to ask Garrett about his dailies and weeklies for where he is right now. And that could change. The nice thing about keeping it small like this is his weeklies for this week could be different than next week.
It's true.
It's a sliding scale. So for me,
let me ask you one quick question before we start.
Yeah.
What brought you to this point that this was going to be a new focus for you? Can you just share with everybody what got you
day-to-day
here?
accountability?
Was there a moment or something that happened?
Yeah. when I was, first of all, I've been on a weight loss journey for a while. It has its ups and downs, as many things do. But the thing that I've found the easiest for me currently is meal prep, right? Because that's my safety net right now. If I don't work out, that's something that I'm not happy with right now. But as long as I stick to my meal plan, I still feel like it's a decent victory.
It's interesting too, because even if that doesn't directly burn calories like the workout does, I think the mental aspect of doing that positive thing for yourself and completing it, that's a small win like we talked about that leads to the
100%.
big wins. You said, oh, wow, I made 5 healthy meals for this week. So when I'm struggling in the week, I don't have to make that decision again. Just that move of cooking one meal that turns into your 5 meals, whatever, meal prep, that's powerful.
And if I take a turn to Stagnantville, a turn to negatively impacting Ryan's life as Ryan, like me, Keoh, making the bad decisions for myself in that day, I just, for whatever reason, don't give a shit.
Yeah, we can be our own worst enemies.
Yes, my meals are set in stone on those days, especially on those days. Mm-hmm. Those are the days where I don't have to think about it. I'm eating this, and I can go back to fucking off and doing whatever thing I was doing, whether I deem it negative or positive for myself. That is my baseline, and it takes out a lot of the thought, because when I'm over here trying to lose weight, nothing affects my mental health worse than when I didn't work out and now I'm hungry and nothing's open and I'm going to go to some drive-through or something like that. Yes.
I use a phrase a lot. It's called setting yourself up for success. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what the meal prep is.
Yes.
So when you're in those down moments or, you're tired, there's a lot of days where just life happens and you're exhausted and you don't want to make a healthy meal. So you'd rather just go through a drive-through. But because you took the time on your day off to do your meal prep, all you have to do is pull out your healthy meal prep. It's still a decision, but it's an easier decision.
Right.
Because you did the hard part. And guess what? That decision of eating the healthy meal, that's a win. That's 100. A small win for the day.
It's a big one. It is a small one in the grand scheme of things, but when you're in that kind of headspace, any small win is a huge win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what are the things you're working on?
So for me, it's not a super long list. We can get through it, I believe. For Keoh's daily achievements, 2 hours of fitness right now.
That's a lot.
Trying to bump up the volume. I've been doing like 30 to 45 minutes. I was doing short so that I didn't burn myself out. Mm-hmm. I was like, get in the gym, lift a couple weights, get out.
Yeah.
Now, more long form, but 2 hours fitness. I have to, in that 2 hours, no matter what my workout is, either knock out 100 push-ups. That's just got to be in there at some point.
That's a lot of push-ups.
I know. Or a 30-minute swim. If I'm not feeling the push-ups, I can swim. If I'm not feeling the swim, I can do the push-ups. But one of those has to be accomplished in every 2-hour workout I do.
You're saying every day has to have a 2-hour workout?
Yeah. And it could be Frisbee. It doesn't have to be weight training. Okay. It can be
just
2 hours of fitness.
Of movement.
Yes.
It can be a walk.
Yes.
It can be, because I honestly think 2 hours is a lot.
For
2 hours. People.
However, with our current positions, we're doing a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
A whole lot of sitting, a whole lot of stagnant.
If you just listen, Keoh's pointing at the computer.
A whole lot of,
desk work.
A whole lot of desk work, a whole lot of sedentary lifestyle.
He's not wrong.
It's not crazy to be on your feet for 2 hours doing physical stuff to get you sweating and getting the blood moving the way it needs to move.
Okay.
So
that's
while
good.
It does feel like a lot, it's open-ended. The only thing that I put a rule on is 100 push-ups or a 30-minute swim, because my swimming's been lacking.
Okay. I like swimming for a lot of people too, because I think people underestimate. I honestly think it's mentally easy. Past just getting in the water,
100%.
You can swim as slow as humanly possible and still get a great workout.
Absolutely.
I don't think enough people utilize the pool. You can do breaststroke if you don't feel good at freestyle, which is overhand swimming. And I know it definitely takes some confidence to get in a bathing suit in front of people. I think that's the hardest part to get over. I'd recommend wearing a hoodie over your bathing suit and just go to the pool's edge, get everything set up except your hoodie, and just take it off and jump in the water. So you don't feel like you're in front of people a lot. Because even when I don't feel fit, I get socially anxious. And so I think that's an easy thing to help you get there, because the pool, I think a lot of people could benefit from it.
Absolutely. Get in there. It's very important. And thank you for pointing that out, because it is very true.
It is, man. It's hard to do anything, I think, in front of people. And the pool is some of the most vulnerable because you're not often in a bathing suit. And when you don't feel confident, really for everybody, you don't feel good.
That's true. Now, let me knock out the rest of these dailies real quick because I know we're short on time.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in.
That's all right. Don't even worry about it. We got a whole another half hour.
We'll cut into your next point, and we'll pick it back up in the...
exactly. I'm going to finish my dailies real quick. So the first one was 2 hours of fitness, obviously with the 100 push-ups, 30-minute swim in there somewhere. Another one of my daily goals is to sit down, watch something on TV for 30 minutes while I stretch. That's 30 minutes of stretching.
Ooh, I like that.
30 minutes of stretching, but the carrot on the stick is I get to watch whatever I want. And it can be complete trash. As long as I'm stretching, it's a win. So that's a good one too. I'm very happy about that one. And then my other one, this is my only other daily, guys, is 2 hours of editing or research a day, which means that in 4.5 hours, I can accomplish all of my dailies.
That's a lot, I think, for most people. I'm very impressed you're putting yourself on this. And if anyone wants to create a program similar to Keoh's for yourself, I would say very similar is good, and just change the time.
Yeah.
Maybe 30 minutes of exercise.
Absolutely.
30 minutes of your mind work, whatever that is. But I like that he's got it diversified. I think that will be extremely proactive, but don't feel it's overwhelming if you want to adopt something on your own.
You feel free to dock those times down, but I think that Garrett can definitely attest that 2 hours of editing goes by in the blink of an eye.
Yep, it does. But I think, too, what can be challenging for a lot of people is we talk about some of the goals being large. Set goals that you know are attainable. Because what if the day gets towards the end and you're like, oh, my God, my goal is 2 hours.
That's why I gave myself an out. 2 hours of editing or research, open-ended research of any kind.
I like that. But I think a lot of people might have more success with having that same goal, but a shorter time commitment.
Absolutely.
Like 30 minutes. Because you're
absolutely. These are my dailies.
Absolutely. I just want to help translate it so hopefully your success can go to everybody.
Oh, it'll happen. Hey, listen, if the bar's low right now and you just got to do 10 minutes of cardio to make yourself feel good, that's still as legitimate as anything.
That's powerful. If you're not doing fitness, and Keoh has a great point, 10 minutes a day is powerful versus I would rather see anybody do 10 minutes of exercise a day versus 1 2-hour workout in a day, because that consistency, like we talked about, and then taking a W for your day. Absolutely. That's a big deal. You can grow on those numbers. Like Keoh's going aggressive doing 2 hours, which is amazingly commendable, but for yourself, set something that you can do. So then you say, okay, well, for me, maybe, for me, it's just 30 minutes of stretching, whatever it is. Then you say, okay, I've got 30 more minutes before the day is done. Even if you're towards the end of your day, you can get it in and feel like you're still checking that box, making that commitment, making it happen. And it's powerful.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I think it's about time we take that break.
Let's take a commercial break. We're going to get more in depth into Keoh's new program, Revolution. Evolution is revolution, one day at a time.
And resolution.
Did I say it wrong?
The evolution of resolution. But I like it. It makes sense. And it does rhyme when you say it right.
Revolution, take 2.
And we're back. This is the Late Night Podcast.
Welcome back. Keoh has been on this amazing new journey for his evolution, no January resolution, daily habits.
There it is.
Where do we leave off, Keoh?
We were talking about my daily and weekly resolutions to myself.
Let's recap in case the commercial break got to people. So give them to us again real quick.
2 hours of fitness.
Yes.
2 hours of editing or research.
Yes.
30 minutes of stretching.
I like that. So fitness, stretching, which are not the same thing. So Keoh really just means exercise.
Yes.
Stretching, most people neglect. I like that he's quartered it off to make sure he gets it in.
And if I'm having a big fitness day, I will split that stretching in half for 15 minutes before and 15 to 20 minutes after.
And guess what? 15 and 15 still makes 30.
What do you know? So those are my dailies. Let's get on down to the weeklies. These, I think, are good to talk about because while the dailies are as important, if not more important, I think the weeklies are where you're going to find your biggest, the ones that are going to make you feel the best in the long term, right?
Interesting.
So short term, the dailies are killing. Like that's going to make you feel good every day. As soon as you're done with it, it's a huge milestone.
Small W's lead to big W's.
Correct. But with all that being said, my overall goal is still to accomplish my weeklies. There's not many of them, but they need to be accomplished. And with the dailies that I have set in motion, it is going to be a lot. It's gonna be difficult. So my weekly goals or resolutions for myself currently are some form of video upload on my new channel, the Bad Gaming Company channel, every week, one upload.
This is big. I've talked to Keoh a lot about this and our journey through YouTube so far. In my opinion, the hardest thing in this whole racket is to press the upload button.
Yes.
To get to a finished product where you have the courage to just say upload and then move on to the next.
Yes,
I had this conversation the other
tough.
day with somebody. It's get to that finished stage, press upload, and then let it go and make another project. It's too easy to sit on past work. So
yes,
I'm super excited to see some content.
Another for me, my only other one now, because I didn't want to overload myself on the weeklies because I kind of stacked it pretty high on the dailies.
Those dailies are strong,
Those
people.
are strong dailies.
Dailies are strong.
Those dailies are strong. However, one of my dailies is 2 hours of editing. That's going into exactly what I'm talking about here. My other weekly is accumulating 8 hours of streaming, 8 hours of live streaming of whatever game I'm playing for the channel. It is a video game channel. It's been something that I've always had an interest in. I do not have any delusions of being some kind of big streamer. It could happen, but I doubt it. The point of me streaming is to use it as a editing exercise, because now I'm taking a large lump of content and whittling it down into something consumable, because an hour-long podcast is hard to sit through. Imagine 8 hours of watching me play a video game.
Streaming is wild. The streaming, we're going to get into this further in some other episodes, but the streaming is wild.
It is. But
these people will sit for some of them do 20-something hours?
Brother, but here's something crazy to me. My stream is actually pretty high fidelity. I'm very impressed with how it came out. It looks good. I look legit, even though I'm not yet. I'm not, but I look legit.
Welcome to the show, baby. That is our secret
legit.
sauce. Look at late night. Looking the part is half the battle. Dress for the job you want.
I streamed the Spider-Man game with a buddy of mine. It was both of us. I two-man the stream, which is not typical. It was actually a bear to do on the audio, but it worked. And I cut out little segments, little 2-3 minute segments. And I was showing them to friends of mine who don't even necessarily play video games. But because Spider-Man 2 was such a cinematic game, and because we were having so much fun doing it, and it looked so good, they were like, I want to watch the whole thing. And I was like, how? Like, I was floored. I mean, we're talking guys who all they do is watch Jocko and go on marathons. We're like, where can I play 8 hours of you in the background of my day just playing Spider-Man.
I bet that's why a lot of why streaming is successful. So I'm not even a big video game person, but when I grew up, I had siblings and friends that would play video games. And in the past,
People like to watch.
what would you do before massive multiplayer gaming? What happened?
Watch your buddy.
One person would have the controller and you would sit and watch them play a game. And I had fun. I'm not even a huge video game person. I had fun. And I think that's what this
it's a multimedia experience.
I think that's what this whole genre is about.
And it's cooperative. Like if they see me doing something wrong, they can go, hey, it's behind you.
Yeah, the interactive factor is interesting because you do feel like you're involved. You're with your favorite streamer. You have the chat. You're talking to them. You're talking to other people. It has become, interestingly enough, a community event.
Absolutely. It's no secret that you guys have been watching all of our episodes and never missing a minute of it. But
the views are through the roof.
I struggled with taking on my position as the shorts editor for this podcast because there's an abundance of material. If there's one thing we've done, it's accumulated a lot of time in this studio.
I think it's funny you've chosen a new medium with even more volume.
Yes, right.
I'm going to solve this problem by giving myself more volume.
But what's nice about that medium is anytime something good happens, I write down the timestamp. So I can cut out hours at a time. I can cut out hours. It's harder here because I'm going with a fine-tooth comb because I want us to look good in our shorts. At least the ones that I'm very passionate about. Now, there is the paralysis by overanalysis aspect of that, which was starting to catch up with me, as well as just having a really hard time watching us. And that was something that was difficult for me as well.
Honestly, I think unless you've done some creative work where you kind of reveal it, I think watching yourself is very difficult, very directly. If you've done acting or stage work or singing and you can actually watch yourself, it's really difficult. I remember the first time I saw myself, like we did a premiere for one of my first movies and we viewed it on a big screen. It's the first time I'd ever seen myself on a big screen. I almost left before the movie finished and I wanted to throw up. I was like disgusted watching myself.
Now what's crazy to me is that I have already had numerous different weights on this podcast. And even at my fattest on the podcast, it doesn't cringe me out because I think I'm just at that age now where I'm like, yeah, it's me. Like, like it doesn't bother me like it used to.
Yeah.
It's not the looking at myself so much as the listening. And it's not my voice.
What do you mean?
It's when I listened originally, when I would listen to our podcast, I would get very upset when I was bored. Like I was like, those feelings of nobody's gonna watch this, right? Like those feelings of I don't even want to watch this. That's a tough look. You know what I mean? And it's not all the time. It's not all the time. Sometimes I watch our stuff and I really can't stop watching it. But there's other times.
Sometimes we're good, audience.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're good.
But there is times, especially. Hey. Oh, man. I'm not used to it being that quick with that Roadcaster way back there. But there has been times where there was legitimately, full disclosure, I was stuck on episode 1 and 2 for about 3 months because it nauseated me to watch. And it's not because we were so bad. It's just because a lot of our stuff isn't live, guys. And it's like going back to
what?
Yeah.
Don't tell the studio audience that. Easy. Calm down.
Easy. But a lot of our stuff isn't live. So by the time I was editing the shorts for 1 and 2, we were like 10 deep. And so to work up to not sucking so bad on episode 10, to then go back and hyper analyze with a fine tooth comb some of the most touch and go podcast on the internet. It was tough, but I also felt the responsibility of finding those moments. And
well, we're also, I'm sure you're comparing us to very successful podcasts that have been up for years. If you look at all of everyone's old works, it's not going to be as refined.
Of course.
It's not going to be as good, but
of course.
You have to start somewhere. You got to just figure it out.
Of course. Also, I was using a new editing software, which now I can use with my eyes closed, and I love that. To the point where I had somebody using it for me. I actually let a friend of mine do some editing of her own, and I was like, yeah, give me that. Like I was like she was doing great.
So you were passing the work off.
No, it wasn't. It was giving myself a break from the over analyzing and trying to see what another eye would do with it, because this person also does these kinds of things. It's not like it's completely foreign to them. And it's funny how work that I didn't want to do became work that I wouldn't allow someone else to do, which I think was very funny, because we said a long time ago that was probably going to happen to you when it came time to get an editor, because you, as much as we would love somebody to edit our shit and we could just show up and sit on a microphone, if that edit turns out shit.
Yeah, it's also hard to let someone else, because
Right.
if you start even myself with editing too,
Yeah.
like I'm an editing machine now, it would be difficult for me to trust someone else with the edit,
You see?
because I've been putting so much work into it, and you develop a style.
It's
and
become
taste.
a filthy little hate addiction. And now
sucks.
I'm starting to really enjoy the shorts. Yeah, it's funny how that goes, but making sure that I accomplish these goals is important, because it keeps me honest. And I'm not a very time oriented person, in the sense that like a week can go by for me and I'm not counting the days. I don't wake up every morning and go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like I'm a very, what day is it? Like where are we in this life? I can spin out and accomplish a whole lot of nothing in 2 weeks and not even realize, and be like, it's only been like 3 days. So, and that's legit. That's true. I've seen me do it. So these dailies and weekly goals that I've set for myself are very important to me as a way of keeping myself accountable.
One of the hardest things anyone can do, I think, is self-reflection.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that's what New Year's resolutions really are about. And I like the tactics that you're taking right now. But I think real self-reflection is one of the hardest things for anybody to do. To look yourself in the mirror, literally, figuratively, and say, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? Objectively. It's hard to take your own emotion out of diagnosing yourself.
Prove it. It's time. I want Garrett's self-reflection live, and I also want Garrett's new weekly and dailies.
I'll give you off the cuffs, but it's not fair for me to have to pick my whole year without research, because you got to think about it.
Absolutely.
But I'll give you off the cuff.
Off the cuff.
I got no problems getting you off the cuff.
I expect you to off the cuff research.
I'll give you, no, but even setting parameters for yourself. I don't think anybody should just pick your daily and weekly goals. You should think about it, because it needs to be realistic and attainable.
You should think about it, but I think that you're the kind of person who already thinks about it.
Too much.
So I don't think that it's even off the cuff. I think you're backpedaling.
All right, what's your questions?
All right.
The studio audience, calm down.
Whoa. Come on. For a moment of openness and levity on the podcast, I'm curious if you can give me an example of self-reflection, as difficult as it is, with something that you could have done better this year.
The first thing that comes to mind is, we're going to go into this on an episode I have prepared, is I had a pretty tough injury on my leg.
There we go.
And I did not find better ways to train and stay active through it. I definitely let my body and mind slip. That was a huge fail because I've been through bad injuries before and I've done better with it. It wasn't my best, wasn't my worst, but very disappointing that I'd kind of let my fitness go. So that was a big fail. Some successes.
Well done.
YouTube.
Okay.
YouTube has been one of the biggest culminations of my creative career. It took a lot for me to get here. I've been grinding. I've been pushing Keoh on this journey with me via the late night show. This is a big part of everything I'm doing on YouTube, and we're going to continue it for as long as we can stand and talk. One of the most things I was proud of this year was before the year's end, and we didn't start in the beginning of the year. We started, I think, after Q1. So 3/4 of the year, probably roughly, just without looking it up. I finished the year with 50 completed videos on YouTube, most of them long form. Most of them hour podcasts or half-hour golf shows. I was really proud to hit that benchmark because that was tough. That was really tough on me, especially in the beginning. I had a really aggressive weekly goal. When I started it, I was very committed. I uploaded no less than 2 episodes a week of long form. I did 1 golf show and 1 podcast every week until I reached about Thanksgiving time. I cut myself a mental break because I'd pushed the midnight candle too hard on myself. But that grind is what got me to 50 by the end of the year. And I was really proud of myself.
And I am proud of you too.
Because thank you. I appreciate that because that was, man, this was hard.
Yeah.
Looking at YouTube, I spent a couple years, no joke, researching what it was going to take to do a podcast and really all the other YouTube shows. And I haven't even started the other shows because it's, been a bigger challenge than I thought.
It's a grind.
My initial goal was 5 shows, which I still have. So we'll call that somewhat of a fail. But I'm proud of myself that I have 2 consistent shows we've been running for most of the year. And then I would say that it's a success because it's been very, very, very difficult. Even learning, like, a lot of this was new for me. And like I had some experience with lighting and camera, like working on TV and movie sets, but I wasn't working those roles. So the reality is I had no knowledge. So I was watching endless YouTube videos, trying to learn lighting, sound, everything. So learning those skills, getting to what I still think is the most difficult part, upload, completion. And I want to quote the photographer, Peter McKinnon, which I've said this 1,000 times on the podcast, but I've found this phrase to be so helpful. Done is better than perfect.
Yes.
That was for me and my creative journey with all of this. That was one of the most powerful statements that I needed. I really needed it. Peter McKinnon, if we ever meet you, if not, thank you. But I needed it. I lived on paralysis by analysis. I had
Who's
so many
Peter McKinnon?
He's a photographer and YouTuber.
Okay.
Professional photographer turned YouTuber. Super successful.
I didn't know, so I figured somebody else might not know too.
Photographer, YouTuber. His stuff's amazing.
If we're going to plug him, we got to plug him right.
Yeah, go look him up. He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I needed that phrase.
Yeah.
Because it got me out of, I have 1,000 other unfinished creative projects before YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's a skill, I think, too. Getting to completion that I had to continue and will continue to work on. So for me, that was a big one. That was one of the things with everything, 50 episodes, a new completed channel. That was a big win for me.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad that Peter McKinnon could get you to completion.
Absolutely. Well, on you too. I can't do any of this. I know you're cracking jokes. The audience loves it when the jokes go over my head. And a lot of times they don't, but I just let them slide because I don't want to hear Cohen's nonsense half the time.
Yeah, sure. He gets them.
So I probably miss a lot of them. I don't even know what I was talking about.
It doesn't matter because we're about to change. I want to know some off the cuff based on where you are today. These do not have to be set in stone. They're not, listen, our thousands of viewers are not going to go, hey, what about those dailies? This is for how you're feeling today, which I think could inform you on creating them or augmenting them tomorrow. What are some dailies for Garrett right now, the way you're feeling now?
All right, I'm going to my structure for success will always be a little different than Keoh's. But
Okay.
I'm going to play
the
Keoh's
game.
structure.
Play the game.
I'm going to play Keoh's structure. So if I were to set up this way,
Yes.
dailies for sure will be minimum 30 minutes of exercise a day.
Sure.
I like to tackle it a different way. I like to set a minimum that I, without excuses, can complete because I know I'll do more.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the mental part is always just showing up. Like at the end of the day, if I haven't gotten a workout in, getting in the building, 9.5 times out of 10, I'm doing more than 30 minutes.
Well, let's be clear though. My original, when I did this originally, was 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I've grown to this.
I guess my point is that the mental thing is, for me, it's more palatable
Yes.
to tell myself in those moments when I'm just feeling like a bum, it's just 30 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
You can do it.
Sure.
You've got 3 hours left before bedtime. 30 minutes ain't no big deal.
Sure.
So for me, it's more palatable.
Okay.
So 30 minutes, typically it's no less than an hour always. But,
Hey, there's
but
no
the
judgment
mental
here.
goal,
It could be 5.
the mental goal is 30 minutes every day because the exercise is what anchors me. It
Yes.
keeps my emotional health in check. I sleep better. I'm a better version of myself always. Like critical thinking, everything's better.
Which is why I'm more interested for the following. What's next?
This will be tough.
Exactly.
Maybe a goal like 2 healthy meals a day.
All right. Well, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Trying to like make sure that at least the majority of your day is healthy food, even if it's like small items, but just making sure that you're thinking it that way.
Give me one more. Both the first 2 are good. I'm trying to dig a little deeper.
10 pages of reading a day.
Ooh.
One thing that I'm failing at, and then we could go back to this is kind of a failure on last year, is I've been trying to give myself a strong push to read more. And I don't count like internet reading as reading. I mean books. I mean making an act, and you can read it on your Kindle, whatever. My point is actively selecting something you want to learn or read that you find to be important and doing that reading. So it's almost like 2-step. And I have a pile of books that I've been like meaning to read. I have 2 I'm reading right now. But setting a daily page goal, and like I said, 10 pages. We can all read 10 pages. It's the act of doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's something I failed on last year that I want to succeed this year that I'd like to add as a daily.
I fail every year on that one. That's why I've actually started to download books on Audible because I'm sick of failing. A
lot of people do it, and that's a smart way to get into it. For me, yeah. I still really believe like the activity of reading words on page, I think is powerful for your brain.
Sure.
So we can go into that later. But for me, I think that's helped me. But if it's versus getting content versus not, I mean, my preferred methods are like watching YouTube tutorials. I'm so visual. Yep. It helps me to learn things. Mm-hmm. But that's why I want to try to crack down on myself to just reading pages. Mm-hmm. But I like that you're doing the Audible books because that's people can slip those in anywhere.
Yes.
In the gym, you can listen to a book. In the car ride. Mm-hmm. And guess what? Instead of just blasting music, which isn't doing that much for you, you're using it as a proactive time.
Sure. Yeah. I think that music also can be beneficial. But I think that they're different muscles, different mental muscles being used.
Yeah, this is personal opinions too.
Yeah. Sure. You hate music, I get it.
You know, honestly, I do not hate music.
I'm just kidding.
But I'm not a music person.
Okay.
I don't listen to a ton of music like other people do.
I get that.
I'm not.
I
Like
appreciate you admitting that.
A lot of people think that's the worst thing on the planet.
Well, yeah, but then there's other people who only listen to one artist and call themselves a music person.
No.
If you only listen to Fish or Dave Matthews, I don't care if you go 30 times to his concert. You ain't a music person, dog. Yeah, like not entire. Like you got to branch out. Like
it's just like the best artists are genreless.
Yeah, exactly.
They themselves try all different types of music.
Like you like music, but to call yourself a music person, I mean, you're hitting one note a lot. But either way,
I'll give you, since time is slipping, we got to get to what
weekly. Goal? I want at least 2 week goals for you, and these I'm very curious about as well.
The week goal I have already enacted this year is uploading 1 video a week.
Got it.
I've also adjusted it to, I'm allowing myself it to be shorts because like some of my golf shorts have been really successful.
Of course.
And I used to undervalue and kind of detest shorts.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to realize their power. And so I think for me, making that adjustment that it can count as one of my videos.
You could count triple. If it leads to your long form.
It kind of does.
Yeah.
So some of the shorts that we've released so far have been really successful, and they're helping the channel grow. So I think I've got to stop undervaluing them. So making that adjustment has allowed me to accept that it is important. So no less than 1 a week. I think ideally 2 a week is where I will be.
That would be
but
nice.
I don't want to push myself at least the beginning of this year, because same thing. I think it's better to check that box and be proud of yourself, and then you can do extra work and feel great.
That's exactly where
But
I'm at.
It's funny where if your goal is 2 and you do 1.5, you feel like a failure. Versus your goal is 1 and you do 1.5 or 2, you feel like a superhero. So it's about the mental shift.
Yep.
So that's a big one for me. 1 a week there. And then, this is a tough one because I'm just coming off my injury, but I need to have no less than 2 hard martial arts workouts a week. I still got to get back to, I want to make the martial arts content big time. So
how's your
grinding in that
martial
realm,
arts stretching been?
pathetic. I probably, that's like a life buzzer telling me I probably need to rethink this, which is why I think it's good to sit down and
that's
maybe
why
even
we're
talk to
talking about it.
somebody.
That's why we're talking about it.
Because
I think that's a better goal for you right now.
you're 100% correct.
Message.
Stretching,
2 hard workouts a week was going to put you right back where you were.
yeah, very, very possible. Yeah,
got it.
stretching, that's excellent. Maybe this is another interesting point.
Bing.
Talk your goals over with somebody.
Well, of course, somebody whose opinion you value.
Yes. And then also,
Someone who knows you.
I think the act of vocalizing it will inherently give it some accountability.
100%. It's true.
I think that's some good points to end on. Set some goals. It's not too late. Even when this video comes out, it might be a couple weeks from our filming. There's still so much time in the year. Don't dwell on what you didn't do to start this year. Celebrate how much time you have left in this year.
Ooh.
Set up a new program that can make this year a success.
Yep. And on that note,
Good night. Good luck. What was that old phrase? The black and white movie thing we did. Just saying, good night. Good luck. And wherever you are.
that's good for
Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.